Where are we going?
I don't know.
International Space Station, ISS, emerged post-Cold War as a collaborative effort between the United States and Russia, symbolizing their cooperation. It serves as a research hub focusing on medicine, technology, and space exploration. Over time, American and Russian astronauts have seamlessly worked together on the ISS, setting aside political differences. American astronauts Kira and Christian utilized the Soyuz rocket transport to reach the ISS. Upon docking, Christian explains the 3 knocks tradition of the Russians as a signal of clearance. Inside, they meet the crew. American commanding officer Gordon, Veronica, and Russian brothers Nikolai and Alexei. Veronica, having spent 50 days aboard, shares a close bond with Gordon, emphasizing unity as paramount. Gordon gives Kira a tour, showcasing sleeping quarters where astronauts adapt to sleeping in various ways, either strapped or floating. He recommends using a sleeping bag initially, highlighting the constant hum of the life support system. If the noise from the life support system ever stops, it's a sign of trouble. Moving on, Gordon shows Kira her workstation and the lock boxes used to secure research, providing her with a key for the American locks. While she's allowed to use Russian cabinets, she'd need to trade keys. Kira promptly begins her work observing mice for her experiments. Alexei notices and remarks on their close proximity since their workstations are adjacent. Kira, familiar with Alexei's research, inquires about his experiments, but he reveals he's lost all his mice. Later, Alexei examines Kira's setup closely. During exercise time, Kira observes Christian testing a drill that can spray fire, both impressive and intimidating. At dinner, Christian shares Earth gifts while Nikolai produces alcohol. Kira's attempt to open the bottle causes laughter as alcohol bubbles float around. The crew then heads to the viewing deck, where Kira marvels at Earth's breathtaking view. They discuss the overview effect, a spiritual awakening experienced by some astronauts when seeing Earth without borders unifying humanity. That night, Kira, anxious about floating sleepers, receives comfort from Veronica, who helps her secure herself in the sleeping bag, noting the challenge of sleeping in space without someone to hold onto. The following morning, the crew begins their work early. Christian attempts to use the computer, but finds the signal down, preventing them from sending messages. Meanwhile, Kira discovers her mice have attacked each other without apparent cause, leaving her disheartened. Seeking solace, she heads to the viewing deck, only to witness a massive eruption on Earth. Initially mistaking it for a volcanic eruption, she alerts the others, but soon multiple explosions occur rapidly across different locations. The crew, now in panic, hastily evacuates the deck and attempts to contact Earth to no avail. Suddenly, Gordon receives a message from Mission Control instructing him to maintain silence due to classified information. The United States and Russia are at war, and other countries' involvement is under investigation. The U.S. government orders its citizens aboard the station to halt experiments and seize control by any means necessary. Nikolai receives a similar message in his station, sparking tension. Gordon, anxious, responds with a query, but the power momentarily cuts out before returning. Pretending communication failure, Gordon privately informs Kira and Christian of the situation. Christian hastily blames the Russians for the outage, but Gordon advises against jumping to conclusions. Veronica then announces a grave issue. The station has lost its internal propulsion, causing it to descend from orbit. With only a day before the station incinerates upon re-entry, discussion of utilizing the Soyuz rocket ensues, but its limited capacity triggers heated debate over who should escape. Kira sends out a message requesting propulsion and hopes Mission Control will respond in time. With no other option, they can only wait. Suddenly, Alexei informs the crew that an antenna outside the station needs manual repair due to damage. Christian doubts the validity of the claim, but Gordon volunteers to undertake the task. As he suits up, Veronica kisses him for luck. Christian privately expresses concern about a potential trap, but Gordon reassures him of his trust in the crew. Once outside, Gordon is horrified to witness the United States engulfed in flames, turning bright red. Through comms, he instructs Kira to keep everyone away from the windows. Meanwhile, Christian and Alexei attempt conversation, though tension and paranoia loom. Alexei excuses himself to the bathroom, then surreptitiously begins sabotaging a panel upon Christian's departure. Moving cautiously outside, Gordon nears the antenna while Kira converses to maintain his calm. However, Alexei severs a crucial wire, cutting off Gordon's communication with the station. Kira alerts the crew, prompting Christian to investigate, but Alexei disguises his sabotage. Gordon realizes his tether isn't long enough, forcing him to detach and leap toward the antenna. In a calculated yet perilous move, he reaches it, only to discover it's undamaged, confirming Christian's suspicions. At that moment, Nikolai activates the grabber arm, knocking Gordon away from the station and into space. Panic ensues as Kira and Veronica lose contact with Gordon and can't locate him on the cameras. Christian spots Gordon floating away through the windows, prompting them to reel in the tether, but it comes back empty. Distraught, Kira retreats to her room to grapple with her grief. When Christian checks on her, Kira expresses a desire to search for Gordon, believing his suit can sustain him for a while longer. However, Christian dismisses the idea as futile, admonishing Kira for naively thinking Gordon's demise was accidental, asserting that the Russians are responsible. Meanwhile, Veronica confronts Alexei and Nikolai, discovering their orders from Russia to eliminate the Americans and take control of the ISS. Alexei claims he only intended to cut off communication, unaware of Nikolai's intentions. Nikolai justifies their actions, arguing that the Americans would do the same, prompting a horrified Veronica to liken him to a monster. Despite Veronica's plea to search for Gordon, the brothers refuse to assist, leaving her heartbroken and alone in her grief. Seeking solace and solidarity, Veronica confides in Kira, the only one she trusts. Sensing Kira's dishonesty about losing her key, Veronica reveals their shared government orders and confesses that the brothers killed Gordon. In solidarity, Kira agrees to help Veronica. They devise a plan. Veronica will create a distraction while Kira uses the Russian key to access Alexei's box, which contains samples crucial for treating radiation poisoning. She notes that the most vital samples are stored in Node 0. After exchanging keys, Veronica seizes the fire drill gun and threatens to ignite pure oxygen in a chamber, escalating tensions. While Nikolai and Alexei attempt to placate her, Kira ventures to the research lab in search of Node 0, but it eludes her. Consulting Christian, she learns there's no such location, leading her to believe Veronica lied. Enraged, Kira sets out to confront Veronica, with Christian trailing behind. Arriving just in time, they witness Veronica striking Alexei with a wrench. Seizing the opportunity, Christian fatally strikes Veronica with a tank to prevent her from detonating the station. As Alexei and Nikolai grieve for Veronica, Christian persuades Kira to remain hidden until communications are restored. Meanwhile, Alexei, in a moment of clarity, spots Gordon nearby and rescues him using the grabber arm. Meanwhile, Kira and Christian hide in the luggage compartment. When Nikolai approaches, Christian distracts him with a fidget toy, allowing Kira to move undetected. Alexei aids Kira's concealment and lies to his brother. However, Nikolai eventually discovers Christian and attacks him, accidentally striking Alexei when he intervenes. Suddenly, Gordon arrives and confronts Nikolai, deeply upset upon learning of Veronica's demise. Their heated exchange leads to a physical altercation as they grapple with each other. In the midst of their struggle, Gordon is accidentally injured by a drill wielded by Nikolai. Despite his wounds, Gordon manages to defend himself by using a screwdriver to incapacitate Nikolai. Unfortunately, their conflict ends in tragedy as they both succumb to their injuries, leaving the rest of the crew to mourn in private. Later, Kira discovers a troubling decline in their altitude and stumbles upon a sign revealing Christian's deception regarding Node 0. Confronting him, she realizes he had planned to escape alone, betraying the trust of the crew. As she tries to warn Alexei of Christian's true intentions, they devise a plan to neutralize the threat. During a tense moment in the kitchen, Kira and Alexei manage to subdue Christian, preventing further harm. Despite the challenges they face, the remaining astronauts work together to restore stability to the station and contemplate their uncertain future. Just as hope seems lost, they receive acknowledgement of their propulsion boost requests, averting immediate danger. With communications restored, both governments inquire about the station's status, but disillusioned by their leaders, Kira and Alexei decide to disregard the messages. Instead, they use the Soyuz rocket to depart the station, taking Alexei's research with them. As they hurtle back towards Earth, Alexei questions their destination, to which Kira admits she has no clear answer. Uncertain of their future, they embark on a journey into the unknown, and the movie ends here. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.